Hello everybody, it's Kate Richburg and it's Free Tip Friday. If it's Friday, it must be time for Free Tip Friday. And sorry I'm a little bit late today. I was having a couple of camera issues, but my camera issues are solved and we're ready to go. So I can see that people are jumping on. Let me jump on and make sure that we are good to go and that I can see everybody and see everyone's comments. And then we'll get started because I think you're going to really dig this project that I'm working on today. Kind of a continuation of our SuperDuo project. So let me see if I can find us on the video feed here. So bear with me. I can see you guys here, but I can't see you on my iPad, so I'm pulling that up. So bear with me here just a second. It says I'm live. There I am. There I am. Perfect. Let me see if I can make sure that I can see your comments here. Good morning, everybody. It's great to see you. It's great to have you. Let me see where I am, if it'll show me live. No, it doesn't like that. So I'm just going to reach across and grab my computer. Hang on one second. Good morning, everybody. It's great to have you. Bear with me here while I grab my computer. As I said, I had a little tiny camera snafu, but I think we're set. And you can see I'm coming at you from a different place today. I am in my office. I added an extra table in here, so I'm able to perhaps do Free Tip Friday right from my office. So here I am. It's kind of fun to be in a new space. So you can see I've got some samples and stuff back here behind me. And let me see if I can pull everybody up on the computer here. And so I can make sure I can see everyone's comments. Alrighty. There we go. Let me see if I can see that. There we go. Let me see if I can get this on here. When we have a camera snafu, it always takes me. There we go. Oh, I can see myself and I can see your comments. Yes, perfect. I can see it. That's great. I'm going to go big so I can see all of your comments. Okay, excellent. All right. That only took me like 10 minutes to do, but thanks you guys for sticking with me. Yes, you can see I'm in my office today, so you can see this is kind of my view. I have two desks that are facing each other so that whenever I meet with anyone, or if we're hanging out, or if Karen and I are chatting, or Janice and I are chatting, we have some facing working desks, so you get a little bit of a glimpse of what it looks like behind the scenes for me. What I'm not showing you is the rest of my office is a little messy, but I'll be cleaning it up a little bit more so you guys can have a little bit of a tour. So it's great. Hello from everyone that's here from all over. It's great to have you. Thank you so much to those of you who are new and joining us, and for those of you who have been watching us for a while. It's great to have you here. And thank you for your comments that you did really enjoy having Sarah here. We really enjoyed having her here as well. I thought her project was awesome, and it inspired me today to do some fun things that I think you're going to love, kind of the continuation with the SoftFlex and the SuperDuos. I'm also, let's see, so I'm going to jump in and turn the camera around so you guys can see what I see, and then we'll start. Okay, so let me jump in here and scoot around. Let me turn this around. Oh, Ginger, am I growing my hair out? No, I'm being kind of lazy, I guess, and not getting a haircut, but I will eventually. Let me turn you guys around. I'm going to turn you. You'll see some of my, you can see that my computer in front of me, and let me get your, there we go, my view here, and let me get you up a little bit higher. There we go, so I can see. Bear with me here while I adjust the camera, because you know that I am always on my own for Free Tip Friday with no Brandwin to help me. Okay, this looks pretty good, right? I think that looks okay. Well, it's great to have everyone. Hello, saludos to Pilar. Hi, Pilar. How are you? Thanks for watching. Yeah, you know, I like my signature bob haircut for sure, but I've just been kind of lazy and haven't gotten a haircut, but I will eventually. Let me see if I can get this looking right. Sorry, you guys, it's taking me just a little bit longer because I am in my office for this one, and I want to make sure that I have everything nice and even so you guys can see my view. This looks okay, right? I think you'll be able to see what I'm doing. There we go. Let's see how that works. I hope you guys will be able to see. There we go. All right. Well, so what we're going to be doing today is we're going to start on a little bit of a rift. Is my sound a little low? Let me try and turn it up a little bit. Let me see. Is that any better? Let me know about the sound here. Is it better? Is it better? Can you guys hear me? Can you give me some thumbs up to make sure that you guys can hear me okay? And I'll really try and project so you guys can really hear me. Sorry again. Sorry about that little bit of a camera snafu, but I'm getting it worked out. We can always broadcast. I can always make it happen. So there we have it. So what I've got going on, if you remember on Wednesday's broadcast, we worked with some SuperDuos and some SoftFlex, and our SuperDuos are here. We've got, this time I am using the Picasso Opaque Green SuperDuo, and I'm going to add to our project, and just bear with me because as you guys know, or those of you who have watched me before, you know that I don't like to plan Free Tip Fridays out too much. I really like to go off the cuff because I feel like it really kind of makes my creativity come out. So I don't have a finished sample for you guys, but I will at the end, and you will be able to see it. I'll put it up on the blog after our broadcast. So as I said, we've got some Picasso Opaque Green SuperDuos. I've got those right here. I've got this 4mm Iris Tanzanite luster that I'm going to add to my project. And then I'm going to, oh, and Gita, thank you. Gita is on asbeadshop.com doing some linking. Thank you, as always, Gita, for doing that. We really, really appreciate your links. I'm going to be working today with the SoftFlex Extreme. And the SoftFlex Extreme is the 0.014. It's the fine, so it's a little bit bigger than the ones that we did, that we used. We used the Soft Touch on Wednesday, but I'm going to go ahead and use the 0.014. And then I have our circle back chain. I grabbed it in the satin gold because I liked it. I like the looks of it. And I'm going to need some jump rings. I've got oval jump rings here. I've got some head pins here. I've got some lobster claw clasps. And of course, I've got some crimp tubes and crimp covers. Okay, so let's get down to business. So if you'll remember, the little kind of segment that Sarah used or made or created, she created it with a SuperDuo, some SoftFlex, and a jump ring, that little chain one that she had. Well, in lieu of a jump ring, I'm going to be using our circle back chain. And so let's just jump in. I'm going to get a little closer down towards my hands here so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. There we go. That's a little closer. I think that's a little bit better. Oh, thanks, Kim. I'm glad you like my bracelet. This one, I hope I'm not too close. Am I even in frame? There we go. That's okay. This one is a bead crochet that I did years ago, years and years ago. And it has some 3mm fire polish. It has that 8mm copper, and then the rest are just 8/0. And it was really easy, and I just strung them on in a set of, I think there are 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there were 5 different beads, and you just string them on one after the other, so it spirals. It was kind of a fun one to do. So, but it's an old one. Back when I was doing a lot of bead crochet. Oh, Terry, hi from South Carolina. Thank you so much for sharing. You know, we always really appreciate your comments and your shares and all of those things for us, for our videos. We really, really, really appreciate it. Okay, so let's start by making that component, okay? Here's the SoftFlex Extreme. I dig, super dig, this 14 karat gold SoftFlex. I think it's really, I love the gold color, and since this is going to be kind of a SoftFlex forward project, I thought it would look really pretty to expose this SoftFlex here. Question from Kathy. She says, speaking of bead crochet, can you use SoftFlex to crochet, and if so, what size? You know, probably you can, is my guess, but I'm not really well versed in the crocheting of SoftFlex. Maybe Emily can address that when she's back with us, or if anyone from SoftFlex or has that experience is watching, we'd love to know. So I'm going to start out by working, I think, off the end of my SoftFlex spool, because, you know, the SoftFlex Extreme, it's not super expensive, but it is a little dear, you know, so I don't want to waste. So I'm going to see if I can work off the end of the spool, okay? So I'm going to come in, and I'm going to give myself a nice little cut here on the end with my Xeron Maxi Shear cutters. And I'm going to grab one of my Picasso Opaque Green SuperDuos. Oh wait, I'm not going to do that yet because I need a crimp tube first. There we go. Crimp tube, now the SuperDuo. Now back up and through. Okay. And that back up and through, I'm going to kind of see how big I want my loop to be. And I think I want my loop to be a little bit larger today, just so it really shows, okay? So now that I've got that, now is when I'm going to cut my SoftFlex. So I'm going to give myself, I don't know, maybe about 1 inch or so to work with. There we go. And what I could do is I could take this piece apart if I didn't want to measure every single time. I could take this piece apart and go, okay, this is going to be how long I'm going to have to cut my units. So I'm going to cut a few. Okay. I'm glad it's Friday too, Ginger. I am trying to decide whether or not I'm going to my studio and work tomorrow, or if I'm going to stay home and work tomorrow. So we'll see. The weather is finally turned here in California. It's beautiful, and so it might be nice to actually get out in the morning and walk around a bit. Maybe I'll go to the farmer's market, take a few more farmer's market photos for our farmer's market project that's going on the bead table, and then maybe come home and work on some things. Okay. So if I'm gonna do kind of kind of an assembly line here, what I've got, I've cut 2, 4, 6, 8, let's cut 9 pieces just to have an odd number. And let's see how 9 of these will work. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside. This is, again, as I said, it's the SoftFlex Extreme. It's the 24 karat gold wire that's underneath the flexible wire cable, or the flexible plastic coating. And as I said, I wanted to do a little bit of measuring, just because, as I say, the SoftFlex is a little dear in this 24 karat, so I want to be I don't want to be wasteful with it. Okay, so here's all my little pieces. So now let's come in and let's build that first component. Here's the one that I was using. It has a little bit of a kink in it, but not too bad. So I'm going to line up that SuperDuo right where that little bend was, and I'm going to come in, put on my crimp tube, slide it down, and as I was saying before, I really want that loop to be pretty big because I want movement there, and I really want people to be able to see that loop, right? Because that SoftFlex is so pretty. So now I need to think about what I'm going to attach in the other end before I bring it and close it up. What I'm going to attach is I'm going to use this circle back chain like little jump rings, and the end of this chain is a little mangled, so I'm going to cut a couple of these away. Cutting very carefully with my Xeron cutter and making sure I am not coming up and hitting myself with the clipped away wire. So I'm going to give myself 3 little loops here, or 3 little links. All right. I'm going to go through that link, back through the crimp tube, and back through, and make it as even, these 2 loops, as even as I can. Okay, so it kind of looks like a little bow tie, right? And that looks pretty even to me. So I'm going to go ahead and crimp it. It's a 2mm crimp tube that's coming in, hold that, over my 0.104 or 014 SoftFlex. I'm going to make sure that when I crimp, and you guys have seen me do this before, but I'll turn it to the side so you guys can see it. It's in the crimping chamber of my Xeron plier. My wires are sitting next to each other so that when I crimp, I get a nice, clean, straight across crimp. Can you see that there? Now I'm going to come in with the center looper, the 2mm looper, and I think you guys can see that there as I come in and close it up. And I give it just a little hug along the way with the tip of my Xeron crimpers. That's why I love these Xeron crimpers so much, because it has a nice thin chain nose at the end, so I can come in and just detail that crimp. Make sure it's nice and closed. I'm going to come in, clip away my extra SoftFlex, making sure I don't hit myself in the head with that wire. Let me get that end out there. And come in and cut it. Okay? So now you can see what I have. I have my SuperDuo, I have my little bow tie SoftFlex unit, and I have 3 links. So let's put another SoftFlex link over on this side, shall we? Then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with these 3 links. It may or may not have anything to do with these tanzanite pieces, and I bet it does. So let's put this crimp tube on, go back through the crimp. Now I need to connect it to something on the other side, so let's get another SuperDuo and push it through. Okay, so the trick, I think, to this design is that we're going to make our SuperDuo, our SoftFlex loops rather, about the same size. So let me visually check it out. It looks okay, I think. So I'm going to come in, put my crimp right in that crimping plier, and crimp. Oh, you guys are super nice that you're picking up what I'm putting down here. I had to this morning. I would have been a little better prepped, but I know that you guys are really waiting on me for that last prairie project that we were doing on air on Facebook Live the week before, last Wednesday, and I hadn't quite finished it. Andrea was really on my case, so she said, "You've got to finish it, Kate." And Karen also. It was the same way. They're like, "Kate, you got to get that done." I'm all, okay. So I was working on it last night and this morning, so that's almost done. But consequently, it put me a little behind on this Free Tip Friday project, but that's okay. So now I'm going to add, you're going to see this design start to take shape. You can see here it's connected with my SuperDuo. Now let me cut myself a few little links so I've got them ready to go. Okay, I'm going to isolate that link that I'm going to cut. So I'm going to cut that one, count 3 links, isolate the link above it, and cut. Look at 3 links and cut above. Okay, there we go. Yeah, Janice, they are. They have to keep me in line, or else I'll just flit from one project to the other, but I know we need to finish them. And that Born Yesterday project riff that I did a while back with the vintage finds, that one's almost done too. So Karen will have all of those up, hopefully by the end of the day today. So I do get them. Oh, see what I did? I put it through the wrong link. Let's not do that. Let's just change it out to the correct link. There we go. No, Ginger, we're all in this together. So if we start a project, I like to finish it. So everybody helps. And Karen's busy making the website look beautiful, and Cara and Myra are busy filling orders with Ivan, and Brandwin has the day off, that Brandwin. And Emily's off for a couple of weeks, but we'll get it all done. Sometimes I like to send things back to Janice and have her finish them off, but we eventually get them with our team. There we go. Put that guy in and crimp and fold. Just like so. Okay, so I'm going to come on and clip the rest of these away. Right there, and then this one right there. Okay. So can you see how a pattern is starting to emerge? Right? We've got that SuperDuo, chain, bow tie link, SuperDuo, bow tie link, chain. So I'm going to continue on with this, but I want to show you where I'm going to add that other piece. Let me add this so this is symmetrical. I'll put a piece of chain on this side, and so the pattern is balanced. Okay. We do have, oh, thanks. We do have the best team ever. I'll tell you what, our team is great. Really, really great. We all try and work together in tandem. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, but we mostly are all on the same page, and it's great to have such a good team, because no person is an island at beadshop.com. We're small, but we're mighty. There we go. Okay, so you can see there's that last little bow tie segment, and let me go ahead and crimp that down. Okay, I love that so many of you are watching with your pets. I love it. This chain is called Circle Back. Whoever was asking, you guys are commenting, so I'm missing some of your comments because they're scrolling by quickly. But the chain is called, is it called Circle Back? Or is it, no, I'm sorry, I'm totally lied to you. It's called Endless Love is the one that it is. Yeah, and, sorry, Gita. You could use Circle Back, though, too. Circle Back's a little smaller. I used Endless Love because it was a little bit bigger. But you could use either. I think that I was thinking about using either of them. So the one that I'm actually using is the Circle Back. Oh, and I see Brandwin just jumped on. Brand, I was telling everybody that you were actually off today, but thanks for jumping in and watching while you're off. We hope you're having a good day off. And get back here on Monday so you can process those orders. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding. No, but we really hope you're enjoying your time, of course. So you can see here, I'm going to start with adding some embellishments here on this. Because I figured, you know, I really loved the way that these SuperDuos looked in that little chain that that Sarah did. What Sarah did was she connected them with one single soldered jump ring, but I thought it might be fun to kind of add some chain into it, give it a little more movement. And you can see that this piece, it makes a nice delicate chain. You can use this in a section of, you know, like a wrap bracelet. You know, you can connect to it here, or you can just make a simple chain with a lobster claw, or let it wrap around a couple of times. So let me add a little bit of embellishment, okay? Because what's life without embellishment, right? So I'm going to use this 4mm iris tanzanite luster, okay? And I'm just going to go ahead and wire wrap it into the chain. So I'm going to bend at a right angle. You guys have seen me do this a billion and one times. But I bend it at the right angle. I go up and over my round nose plier to make my loop. Flip my plier up and pull that wire all the way underneath to make a nice round loop here on the end, okay? And if I'm doing assembly line, and my mom knows this, my mom is watching with her dogs, and like everyone else watching with their pets, and my mom knows that I assembly line when I'm making something. I will assembly line like crazy so I can kind of repeat my movements so I can get everything done pretty efficiently. Yeah, Trish, I agree with you. A long necklace like this, based on this, I think would be really kind of cool. I'm going to show you a necklace that I'm wearing today, actually at the end of the broadcast, that I'm going to do on a future Facebook Live that's kind of a riff on this too. Okay, so I don't know how many I've done here now that we've been chatting. Let me see. 2, 4, 6, 7, and if I do 3, 6, 9, I need 7, 8, 9. I need 2 more little clusters too. You know, I had pulled something out, and I'll do this at the end of the broadcast. I have a couple of pieces that I was looking at yesterday as I was putting jewelry away that I want to pull out and talk to you about as well, because I think this might be an interesting addition to that. But I'll do that once we're done with this instruction. So can you see how when I assembly line things, I go pretty quickly and I get my round nose plier, you know, so I can do the same movement over and over. So I get fast, okay? I really speed up my production because I'm just doing the same thing over and over. It does have a Victorian feel, Cynthia. I have felt that about these SuperDuos for a long time. That and the Tyla beads. They kind of have kind of an, you know, 2-hole beads always kind of say Victorian to me as I'm designing. Okay, and I just have 3 more to go. And you know, I've been making loops for like 25 years, right? So I make it look really easy. But I'll tell you, the more you do this repetitive task, like you've said, Ginger, muscle memory, it's really true. You will just start to do the same thing over and over. And if we look at my loops that I'm creating, you can see that they're all about the same size because I'm doing the same thing again and again and again. And my mom knows me well, as she just commented, don't forget to add them to the chain. That's exactly right, because I get so excited I just want to close them up. So I'm going to start here in the center and I'll work my way out. So I'm going to take one of these guys. I'm going to loop it through the center link. I'm going to hold that loop closed with my chain nose plier. And just with my fingers, see how I'm holding this at kind of a right angle here, and I'm coming in and wrapping that wire so it's on a 90-degree angle here. And that really gives me everything set up so that I can just come in and wrap, and see how nice and tight that is? It's nice and clear and clean. I'm not going to bother right now cutting away that tail. I'm going to do these repetitive tasks again and again, and I'm not going to worry about whether the drop is falling on one side of the link or another. I want a little bit of variation here, so I'm just going to let it vary. Whatever side it falls on, let the chips fall where they may. Okay? Slide that guy on, grab it with that chain nose right there so it's nice and tight, holding the loop completely on the face and bringing this around. 1 around, 2 around, that was 3 around, and 4. So most of these have about a 4 wrap little neck. And can you see? These guys are all on there, but the little, the wire there that I have, I'm not going to cut them away quite yet. I'm going to do that all at the same time. The beads I'm using are a 4mm iris tanzanite luster. I feel like it's kind of a new bead for us. I hope it's up on the website. I hope it's not that new, but I think it's up there. It was up on the wall. Sometimes Brandwin is super efficient and puts things up that we're going to debut, and I want to inadvertently grab them. But this iris tanzanite luster is so delicious. Tanzanite is one of my favorite stones, and that little bit of a luster coating over those are beautiful. Let's do this last one on the 4th. Oh good, thank you Gita for linking it. Good thing I didn't grab something that was actually up on the website. There we go, grab this, and after this I just have 3 more to go. But see how I'm wrapping? Yes, 24 gauge, thank you Anna, the head pins are 24 gauge. Nice and supple to use, but they still stand up to what I'm doing. So can you see how I'm wrapping one half and then the other half coming around? That just gives me a nice straight across clean wrap. Hello, Maria just joined us from Cyprus. Good evening from Cyprus. I bet it's a lovely evening over there in Cyprus. That's what I love about our broadcasts and our bead table group, that we are gathering from all over the world, you guys, making the world a friendlier, happier place, one bead at a time. That's my calling. So thanks for gathering here with me. I love that this creativity is flowing out from Redwood City, California, and flowing all the way to you guys wherever you might be. That makes me real happy. There we go. And let's do this last one. I think that one goes right here on this end. And we're gonna hold that up. And see how I also, it's hard to see you guys here, but you're gonna come in and I tilt it a little bit right? I kind of tilt it to the left here so that bead falls down to expose the neck that I'm wrapping. If I'm holding it like this, I don't have that opening in the neck, so I just automatically tilt over here like this to the left. And then I come in, see how I've done that? I do it so quickly, but that 180 degree, and then I grab it here, pull it around another 180, push it with my thumb, that 180, push with my index finger, that 180. So that gives me that nice, clean, crisp wrap. Okay. So now that I have all of my little 4mm wrapped, can we see that? Now I am able to clip that little end away. All again, one after the other, fast, fast, fast. So I'm going to come in with the tip of my wire cutter so it's wedged right up against that bead, and I clip. Being really careful not to nick the loop or the wire wrap or the chain. So I want to go at a fast pace, but I don't want to be careless and have to come in and redo. So I want to be mindful at this portion. I also want to be really mindful about where that wire is going when I'm clipping it. Okay. And this one here. And then this one here. Whoops, that didn't clip. And we've got just one more section to go. So you can see as I do this repetitive task, I get faster and faster. And that's the way I do my fabrication as well. You know, when I make all my little component parts, I make one component part over and over and over. And then when I'm ready to design, I have it all ready to go. And you can see, you can also, this is a good way to kind of check your work. You can see that everything I've cut away is about the same, it's close to the same length. So there's not a lot of variation in what I'm doing, which is a good thing. So now let's look and see. Yeah, this is really shaping up. Look at that's pretty darling. Let's see. Let me put it on my wrist. Yeah, it's starting to come together. I really like it. Now I could do, instead of 3 clusters, I could do 6 of those, right? I think it's pretty cool. Oh, good, when you're making something, I now hear the phrase, be mindful in my head. Oh, well, I'm glad, Lynn. You know, it's kind of a mantra for Emily and I both. You know, in a lot of things in my life, I'm not very mindful. But when I make jewelry, you kind of have a moment of zen, I think, that you can kind of take a moment and really make sure that we're being mindful with this. I think for the closure, I'm trying to decide how I want to close this off. I think I will connect, this is a little fussy here, so I think I'm going to connect it with a SoftFlex loop on this. It would be great as an earring, Leanne. I think that's awesome. I really, really agree. I think it would be a great earring, especially if we isolate it kind of like this and we dangle it this way. I think it would be perfect. So let's go ahead and connect the clasp in it then. So I'm going to come in and grab this loop with my SoftFlex, just like so. And I'm going to grab my crimp tube. And we're going to go ahead and pull that through. And then, just as if we were crimping a clasp on regularly, I'm going to go ahead and make a little loop and come back through the crimp. So I'm using this little bow tie as the component. There we go, between my clasp and my chain. Let's make sure that's the right size. Looks good. Let's go ahead and crimp it. Bring it into the crimping plier, crimp, and turn. It's one of the things about these Xuron crimping pliers. You really do get a nice deep V in your crimp, so it really, really is going to be a nice crimp to fold over. Trish, you're asking if this is long enough. It probably isn't, but I wanted to show you how I would put the end on here. And let's give it a measure, actually, and see where we are with this, okay? Let me get here's my tape measure. Now, what I like to say is when I'm measuring, I kind of measure what I call door to door, which is the end of the crimp or the end of the clasp to the loop on the other side. Let me get my awl here. Pull this out. We're at about 5 inches. So for me, a bracelet needs to be about 7 1/4. So I need probably one more bow tie section, and maybe one more chain section is all I really need to finish this up. We're really, really close because this bow tie section here is about 1 1/4 inches. So that's going to be about right. The end length plus the clasp may add 1 inch on each end. Yeah, so I think we're going to be real close. Now on the other side, and what you could also do is on the end of the chain here, you could make it adjustable. So if you guys bear with me here, I'm going to go kind of at lightning speed because I just had what I think is a pretty good thought about how to close it. So just bear with me, and I'm going to get this going here because we can also make this adjustable, which I think would be great, especially if you are making this for gifts. That's not right. I want it to go through the chain so badly with the SuperDuo. Let me try this again. There we go. I'm so excited to finish it. I'm not being mindful. But this would be a really easy one to make adjustable. There we go. Now we'll put on our SuperDuo. And we'll link it back through. That 2mm crimp tube. And now I'll come in and I'll crimp it. There we go. And if you are afraid of crimping, right? If crimping gives you the heebie-jeebies, right? If you're a little worried about your crimping skills, this project is one that will really hone those skills. And you know, if you screw up on these little connectors, you guys, it's no biggie, right? Because it's just a little connector. It's not like you have strung a whole gigantic necklace and you're going to have to take it apart. All you would do is take apart one connector. Now, there we go. That SoftFlex goes in the end of that SuperDuo. I'm going to get a crimp tube that I like the looks of. There we go. Slide this through. And I'm going to work off the length of the chain here as well. So let me do that because I'm not quite sure how much chain I'm going to need. The SuperDuo color that I am using is the Picasso Opaque Green. After our broadcast, I'll go ahead and put a materials list up on our blog. Our blog is also called the Bead Table, just like our Facebook group is. And you'll be able to see all of the ingredients there, especially for those of you who are watching this on replay and not live. Sometimes you can't see the links that are going on. That looks about right, though I think that loop is a little touch too big. There we go. And let's fold it in half. Let's give it a little hug and cut away this extra. And this extra here. There we go. So let's see where I'm at with length, okay? So I've got this, and if I want it to be at about 7¼ I think I'm just fine. I'm going to cut it right there. It's given me a couple of extra loops, but that's really okay, because what I can do is I'm going to use this last link as my closure, but then I can come in and add a whole bunch of dangles right here on this end. Now I could also, if I wanted to, maybe I could incorporate, I don't know, a few more SuperDuos. Maybe. I'm not sure. I might have to play around with it a little bit. Or you could, you know, so you could have a little bit of wire wrapping or something like that there. I don't know. Maybe I would just crimp, use these little bow ties, maybe make them a little smaller, and just add one little bow tie to dangle there as a crimp. I'm not sure, but I think it's kind of a fun base, a fun start for you guys to riff off of. So I would do maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 more beads there. I have several, you know, I have plenty. I have a whole strand of these beads, so I could make them a little more luscious that way too. Crimp cover. Thank you, Ginger, for bringing that up. I've got crimp covers right here, and I think that the crimp covers, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 crimps to cover. And I think that crimp covers will really make this piece look nice and finished. Now, you've seen me do the crimp covers before, but I'm going to do it again here. I'm going to bring this crimp cover up and over, if I can. Let me grab it with my Xuron. I don't know what I was thinking. Let me do it the right way. There you go. And I can nestle that cover right down or right over my crimp. The other thing you want to make sure, and I think the issue that I'm having with this cover is, I want to make sure that everything is nice and tight here, so that crimp is nice and flat. And then I can get my cover right over the top of it. And there you go. Can you see how it's nestled in there? Okay. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to use the rounder here. And remember from Wednesday's broadcast, just light little crimps on the crimp cover so I don't smash anything. There we go. That looks real nice, I think. We close that up and we'll just go to the next one. Put this crimp cover over the top, or put the crimp. Sometimes I have an easier time putting the crimp in the crimp cover rather than the crimp cover over the crimp, if that makes sense. I come into the 3mm rounder in the Xuron plier and just round it, coax it closed. And then sometimes a final little push on that seam rounds everything up perfectly. Okay. And we'll go to this next one. That's exactly right, Lynn. Be mindful when we're putting that cover on. This crimp isn't crimped all the way across, so I want to make sure that that's right. I'll get this cover in the tips of my plier. And I'm going to put the crimp in the cover rather than the cover around the crimp. I think that helps. There we go. And it just pops right in there. You can see I'm going to turn it to the side and give it a little bit of a hug. Okay. I'm not going to put all of these guys on. You've seen me do 3. I think that's enough. But I'll put this down so you guys can see the finished result of with crimp cover and without. Okay. There they are. I think that really gives it a nice finish. Let me get a little closer with the camera so you guys can see it really close up. Can you see that there? How it really is all coming together. I think it looks pretty good, if I do say so myself, right? Not too bad. Let me get a little taller here with the camera, and I'll show you the piece that I'm wearing today, because you can kind of see, even though it's a completely different process, kind of where I was thinking about my design process with this. There we go. This is a project that we're going to be doing on a future Facebook Live. The necklace that I'm wearing. Let me see if I can pull it off here. This is a piece that was in back when Step by Step Wire Jewelry was a magazine that came out from Interweave Press. Sadly, it's no longer a magazine, an available magazine. But this was one of, I was their Artist of the Year a few years back, which was kind of a cool thing. And this was one of the pieces that I did for the magazine. And if, you know, we're starting to get in some of the heavier gauge wires, this was actually, I think, a 12 gauge, but I'm going to replicate it, I think, in a 14 gauge wire. This is something that I soldered, but the one that we're going to do on air, we're not going to solder, okay? Some of you may recognize the style of my friend Cynthia Thornton from Green Girl. This is one of her brass, her bronze medallions, her eye medallions that I got from her many years ago. But you can see here this little figure 8 that I replicated with that little bow tie that I did in the SoftFlex. See how it's that same kind of shape and component on the necklace that I'm wearing. And you'll notice I've used, again, a 4mm fire polish here. This is a copper, I think some kind of copper luster fire polish. And notice, who knows what kind of thread I used here? Can somebody, does somebody know what that might be? I know that you guys know what it is. And, or at least you'll know when I tell you. This is just a simple wrap of waxed linen thread. Okay, and the waxed linen really holds up and gives it kind of an ethnic, kind of an interesting look to it. So you guys all think it's Ceylon. It's not. It's actually waxed, Irish waxed linen. I love waxed linen and what it does for the piece. So that's what I did here with these pieces. So the embellishment part, and this necklace is a few years old, and the waxed linen has really held up nicely. And then you can see this connection here. It's very similar to what I did with the chain. It's just a bead and a link. So it's really kind of a very similar take, just with completely different materials. You can see that the shape and the size of these pieces, you know, are a little different, but the method behind the madness is kind of the same. Your question, let's see, Kim, Cynthia does still make these pieces. You may want to check out her Etsy store, Green Girl Studios. That's usually where she puts some of her specialty things. Cynthia also, at the beginning of May, she and her brother Andrew Thornton are going to be at my studio here in South San Francisco, and she's going to have some of her things and stuff for sale. But you can see her on at various bead shows, but her Etsy store, Green Girl Studios, if you look that up, I'm sure you'll be able to find it. So it's still a piece that she has in production, I think. So that's that. Oh, I wanted to also show you one more piece before we part ways. I wanted to show you this piece because I think that the piece that we made today might be a cool addition to it. This was a Free Tip Friday from a while back, and you guys may remember it. Let me see if I can figure out which Free Tip Friday it was. I'm not really sure what this one was. I'm going to have to look it up. Let's see. And the way that you find our projects, you know, we added a brand new Free Tip Friday link on the top of our homepage. If you click Free Tip Friday, all the Free Tip Fridays come up. And this one was called 3 Technique Mashup. That's what this one is called. 3 Technique Mashup. And this has a bit of, let me pull that out of the way, a bit of poetry, a chain link, and then, lo and behold, I knotted again on wax linen here. So this was a 2-wrap bracelet that came around like so. But this piece here would just connect beautifully. So instead of a 3 technique mashup, it would be a 4 technique mashup. Okay. So it's it would be a fun one to attach. And yeah, so this one, Andrea, this is a wrap bracelet. I did it 2 rounds, so it comes around, whoops, it comes around once, and it comes around, see if I can get it to come around. Let me start with my button. Let me first move the camera. Let me see. I need a third hand. Put the button on, and you can watch that whole show. It's the 3 Technique Mashup Free Tip Friday, and it's also up on our blog as well, all of the ingredients and stuff in it. I'm having a little trouble wrapping it around my wrist because I need someone else's hand, but you can see I won't connect it, but you can see it's a double wrap in colors that I love. So yeah, so there's that. So it's a fun one, and it kind of matches what I'm wearing today, so maybe I'll put it on after the broadcast and wear it. But it would be a fun technique to add to this 3 technique mashup there. So that's it. So just to go over, so everyone sees the ingredients, you can always find all of our ingredients right on our website at beadshop.com. And of course, you can always watch these Free Tip Fridays as well as all of our broadcasts, videos that are archived. You can watch them, of course, live every Wednesday and Friday. You can find us on our YouTube channel, beadshop.com. And of course, you can watch the rebroadcasts. We archive them on our website at beadshop.com with the projects and things. So you can always find them there. You can go right into our Bead Shop, our Facebook Live category, or now we also have the Free Tip Fridays archived for you as well. So you can see we've got the Picasso Opaque Green SuperDuo. We've got this Iris Tanzanite Luster in 4mm. I've got this SoftFlex Extreme, the 14 karat, in the 0.014, the fine size. I've got our Endless Love chain, what we call the Endless Love pattern. I've got crimp covers, 2mm crimps, and I chose to put a lobster claw on the end. And last but not least, of course, I used 1.5 head pins, 24 gauge in the gold tone. So that's everything. You guys will be able to see this, as I say, a little bit later up on our blog. We'll link it, and I'll have everything linked and ready. You'll find that link on the home page of our website. Okay, so let me turn this around, and so I can say goodbye to everybody and happy weekend. There we go. Let me see. Around. All right. There we go. Turning. There we go. A little more of a turn. Bear with me here just while there we go. There it is. Okay. Let's look at some of the questions here. So, questions. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for that. And Randy, you commented you wish Green Girl had clasps for looming. You know, I will put a bug in Cynthia's ear. I'm going to talk to her a little bit later, and that's actually not a bad idea. You know, Cynthia does all of the carving, hand carving of all of her pieces, and her husband Greg does all the casting. Greg does some carving as well, but Cynthia mainly does the casting and carving and designs. So when you ask her to do something, she'll take it up as a challenge. So you never know. You never, ever, ever know what she might come up with. So I'll put that bug in her ear because we're going to be spending some time together soon. What else, question-wise, do I have? A knotting tutorial? Yes, Patricia. We do have several really great episodes, and Janice has, if you look at the project Making a Mala, there's a lot of great knotting tutorials that are there for that. But if you look on our Facebook Live, I think each of us, Emily and I and Janice, have all done a knotting tutorial as well. So there's a whole bunch. What else do I have here, question-wise? Oh, you guys are very kind. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. I hope I've gotten everyone's questions there. You guys are commenting fast and furiously, so that's good. Thank you. I'm so glad you guys enjoyed it. So do check out our blog. Oh, that was the other question. You can just go right to our front page of our website. If you scroll all the way down, it says blog the bead table. Or if you just Google the bead table blog, it'll come up. It's pretty easy to find that way as well. And you can see all of the Facebook Lives there, a lot of stuff that's there for your design inspiration. Alrighty, well thank you so much for joining me today. Do keep an eye out. If you are a member of the Bead Table, not the blog, but our Facebook group, you can keep an eye out. I've got a really good I think it's really good. I've got a question to pose to you guys this weekend that I'm going to need your help with. If you are not one of our Bead Table members, our Facebook group, our private Facebook group, go over, you answer 3 quick questions, and I let you in. I jury you in. We make sure and have those questions so we don't have a lot of spammers or people that aren't into beads that try and join the group. But do join. We've got such great techniques, great inspiration over there, so we'd love to see you over there. But I'm going to pose a question for you guys on Saturday that I'm going to need help with. So I hope that you're ready for to help me out. It has to do with a project that's coming up in June. So thank you guys so much again for joining me. I will see you on Wednesday for our epic Viking knit chain, and I'm going to have a very special guest with me that Wednesday. You know who you are, special guest, because you're watching right now. And it'll be great to see you all back here on Facebook Live on Wednesday. Have a fantastic weekend. Check your newsletters, check the Bead Table group, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks so much.